Hi, I'm Emily. Today, I'm going to tell you my story. But before I continue, please share and subscribe to hear more stories like this. They say karma comes back around, but sometimes karma needs a little push. That's what I learned after what happened at Wilson's Pharmacy last winter. I wasn't always struggling. 2 years ago, I had a decent job at Horizon Marketing as a graphic designer. My boyfriend Jake and I had been together for 3 years, and everything seemed perfect when I found out I was pregnant. We were excited, picked out names, painted the nursery together. But then, life happened. We need to talk, Jake said one evening, sitting on our couch with that look on his face. What's wrong? Is everything okay at work? I asked, lowering myself carefully onto the cushion beside him. I was 7 months pregnant then. He couldn't even look at me. I can't do this. The baby, the responsibility, it's too much. What are you talking about? We planned this, Jake. We wanted this. No, you wanted this. I just went along with it. He finally met my eyes. I'm leaving. I already packed my stuff. Just like that, my world collapsed. 2 days later, I lost my job due to company downsizing. Talk about timing. My friend Sarah was my lifeline during those dark days. You can stay with me until you figure things out, she offered when I called her crying. I can't impose on you like that, I said, wiping away tears. Don't be ridiculous. My spare room is just collecting dust anyway. Sarah worked as a bartender at the Green Room, a fancy establishment downtown that catered to business executives and the wealthy elite. How's the job hunt going? Sarah asked one morning as I fed little Mia. Not great. Nobody wants to hire a new mom with no childcare options. What about your skills? You're an amazing designer. I shrugged. I've been doing some freelance work, but it's not consistent enough. Well, I heard the regular cleaning lady at the bar is going on vacation. It's just 2 weeks, but it's something. That's how I ended up cleaning bathrooms at the Green Room after hours while Sarah watched Mia. Not glamorous, but it paid for diapers and formula. One night, while emptying trash bins, I overheard a conversation in the private lounge. The Wilson account is practically in the bag, a deep voice said. Once they sign, Blackwood Enterprises will control 40% of the pharmaceutical retail market in the region. Brilliant move, Richard, another man replied, especially considering how desperate they were after that PR nightmare. I peeked around the corner and saw 5 men in expensive suits. The one speaking was tall with salt and pepper hair and a watch that probably cost more than my yearly salary. That's Richard Blackwood, Sarah whispered when I described him later. CEO of Blackwood Enterprises. Total shark in business. Rumor has it he's buying up struggling pharmacies and jacking up prices. Charming, I muttered. Little did I know our paths would cross in the worst possible way. 2 weeks later, I was standing in Wilson's Pharmacy with Mia strapped to my chest. I had exactly $7.83 to my name, just enough for the store brand diapers on sale. I counted my coins at the register while the cashier waited patiently. I'm sorry, I said, feeling my cheeks burn with embarrassment. Take your time, honey, the older woman replied kindly. That's when I heard an irritated sigh behind me. Some of us have actual businesses to run, a man's voice said loudly. I turned around and there he was, Richard Blackwood, the CEO I'd seen at the Green Room, holding expensive cologne and checking his Rolex. I'm sorry, I mumbled. Just one more moment. This is why they should have express lanes for people who aren't wasting everyone's time, he said, not even bothering to lower his voice. The cashier frowned. Sir, please. No, I've been patient enough. I'll make it simple. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a $10 bill, and tossed it on the counter. Here's for the diapers. Now move along so the rest of us can get on with our day. The store went silent. Everyone was watching. I don't need your charity, I said, feeling my face flush with anger and humiliation. It's not charity, it's efficiency. Your time isn't worth much, but mine is. He smirked. Consider it a public service. Then he did the unthinkable. He picked up my diaper pack, walked to the front door, and tossed it into a puddle on the sidewalk. There, now you can go. I stood frozen as laughter erupted from the two men with him. The cashier looked horrified. "Sir, you can't do that!" she exclaimed. "I just did." He turned to me with a cold smile. "Life lesson, sweetie. The world belongs to people who can afford it." I gathered my dignity, picked up my now-soaked diaper pack, and left with tears streaming down my face. That night, I told Sarah what happened. "That absolute monster!" she exclaimed. "Richard Blackwood humiliated you like that?" "In front of everyone," I confirmed, pacing her living room. "He just threw my diapers in a puddle and laughed." "We should report him." "To who? The rich jerk police?" I shook my head. "Guys like that never face consequences." "Maybe not yet," Sarah said thoughtfully. "But everyone has a weakness." The next day, Sarah came home excited. "I have news. Remember Marcus, that assistant I've been flirting with at the bar? The one who works for some executive?" "Yes. And guess who he works for? Richard Blackwood. I told him I needed an in because my talented friend was looking for design work." My eyes widened. "Sarah, what are you saying?" "I'm saying Blackwood Enterprises is looking for a new in-house designer and you have an interview on Friday?" I shook my head. "No way, I can't face that man again." This is perfect. Great pay, benefits, and you'll be on the inside. If you want revenge, this is your chance." After much debate, I agreed. Sarah helped me prepare while her mom watched Mia. The Blackwood Enterprises building was intimidating, all glass and steel. I clutched my portfolio with sweaty hands. The receptionist smiled. "Miss Carter? Marcus will see you now." Marcus was younger than I expected, maybe early 30s with kind eyes. "Your portfolio is impressive," he said after reviewing my work. "We need someone with your skills. The job is demanding, but it pays well." "I'm ready for a challenge," I replied. "There's just one thing." Marcus hesitated. "Mr. Blackwood has final approval on all new hires." My stomach dropped. "I understand." "He's actually available now. Let me introduce you." Before I could object, Marcus led me to a large corner office. Richard Blackwood looked up from his desk, and for a second, I saw confusion in his eyes. "Mr. Blackwood, this is Emily Carter, the designer I mentioned." Richard studied me. "Have we met before?" I forced a smile. "I don't believe so." He frowned slightly but nodded. "Marcus says you're talented. We need someone who can elevate our brand." "I can certainly do that." After reviewing my portfolio, he seemed impressed. "You start Monday. Marcus will handle the details." Outside his office, I exhaled shakily. "He liked your work," Marcus said. "That rarely happens." "Lucky me," I replied. On Monday, I began my new job. Sarah's mom agreed to watch Mia during my work hours for a fraction of what daycare would cost. "This is your desk," Marcus explained, showing me around. "The design team reports directly to me, and I report to Mr. Blackwood." Over the next few weeks, I learned everything about Blackwood Enterprises. Richard was as ruthless as his reputation suggested. He regularly berated employees and canceled contracts on whims, leaving small businesses devastated. I also learned about his wife, Jennifer, a socialite who seemed perpetually unhappy, and his obsession with appearances. Richard cared deeply about how the public perceived him and his company. One day, Marcus stopped by my desk. "Emily, I need your help with something sensitive." "What is it?" "Mr. Blackwood is launching a charity initiative, Blackwood Cares, to improve his public image after some negative press about pharmacy acquisitions." I raised an eyebrow. "Pharmacy acquisitions?" Marcus lowered his voice. "He's been buying struggling pharmacies like Wilson's and raising prices on essential medications. It's legal, but not exactly ethical." My heart raced. Wilson's, the same place where he humiliated me. "I need you to design campaign materials for the charity launch. It's in 3 weeks." "Of course," I replied, ideas already forming. That evening, I called Sarah. "I need your help with something." "Revenge time?" she asked eagerly. "Not yet. I need information first." Through Sarah and Marcus, who had grown increasingly disenchanted with his boss, I learned Richard was planning to announce the acquisition of 5 more pharmacies at the charity gala. The contracts aren't finalized, Marcus explained during lunch, but he's already promised investors he'll control 60% of the market by quarter's end. And nobody questions his methods? I asked. Marcus sighed. People are too afraid to challenge him. Plus, his wife's family has connections everywhere. What about his home life? Is it as perfect as he pretends? Marcus hesitated. Jennifer confronted him at last year's Christmas party about some texts from his assistant before me. It wasn't pretty. Perfect. I worked diligently on the charity campaign materials, gaining Richard's trust. He even started requesting me specifically for projects. You understand my vision, he told me. I like that. The charity gala was scheduled at the Grand Hotel downtown. Every important person in the city would attend. I volunteered to handle the presentation materials personally. This needs to be flawless, Richard instructed. I want everyone talking about Blackwood Cares tomorrow. They certainly will, I promised. 2 days before the gala, I stayed late at the office, waiting until everyone left. With the access card Marcus had accidentally left me, I entered Richard's office and accessed his computer. Thanks to Marcus revealing that Richard always used his wedding date as his password. Ironic for someone who barely acknowledged his marriage. I gained access to his files and emails, finding exactly what I needed. Communications about the pharmacy acquisitions, including plans to increase drug prices by up to 300%. I also found emails to his current assistant, Lisa, that were decidedly not professional, and documents showing he'd falsified community impact reports. The night of the gala arrived. I wore a borrowed dress from Sarah and did my makeup carefully. The Grand Hotel ballroom was filled with the city's elite. Richard moved confidently through the crowd, Jennifer on his arm like an accessory. Everything's set for the presentation, I told Marcus, who gave me a knowing nod. At precisely 9 p.m., Richard took the stage to enthusiastic applause. Thank you all for coming tonight to support Blackwood Cares, he began smoothly. At Blackwood Enterprises, we believe in giving back. He clicked to advance to the first slide of my presentation. His face fell slightly when he saw it wasn't what he expected, but he continued professionally. As he clicked through, however, the slides began to change. Instead of the charity information, financial documents appeared showing the planned price hikes for critical medications. There seems to be a technical issue, Richard stammered, frantically clicking the remote. Next came the emails to his assistant, then the falsified reports, the room filled with murmurs. This is not the presentation I approved, Richard said desperately, looking around. His eyes found mine, and suddenly recognition dawned on his face. I smiled and raised my glass to him. You, he hissed, leaving the stage and storming toward me. You did this. Do I know you? I asked innocently, loud enough for others to hear. You're the woman from the pharmacy, with the diapers. The room went silent. Jennifer Blackwood stepped forward. What pharmacy? What is she talking about, Richard? I addressed the crowd. Mr. Blackwood may remember me. 3 months ago, I was buying diapers for my baby with my last few dollars. He was kind enough to toss them into a puddle because I was taking too long counting change. Gasps echoed through the ballroom. That's a lie! Richard shouted, but his face betrayed him. Is it? I turned to the crowd. Ask the employees at Wilson's Pharmacy. The same pharmacy he's planning to gut after acquisition, raising prices on medications that people like me depend on. Jennifer stepped away from her husband. Is this true? Before Richard could answer, Marcus joined us. Every word. And I've already sent the complete documentation to the State Attorney General's office and the medical board. Richard's face contorted with rage. He lunged toward me, grabbing my arm. You'll regret this! Security immediately stepped in, pulling him away as he shouted threats. Within a week, Blackwood Enterprises' stock plummeted. The pharmacy acquisitions fell through as the State Attorney General launched an investigation into price gouging and anti-competitive practices. Jennifer filed for divorce, taking half of everything. Richard was forced to resign as CEO amid the scandal. As for me, I was offered the position of creative director at a rival company. with flexible hours and an on-site daycare benefit. "I can't believe you pulled it off," Sarah said as we celebrated in my new apartment. "Sometimes the universe needs a little help delivering justice," I replied, watching Mia play on her new activity mat. Marcus joined our celebration. Blackwood Enterprises is rebranding under new management. They're implementing a prescription assistance program for low-income families. I smiled. Perfect. Last I heard, Richard was spotted working as a pharmaceutical sales rep, the lowest position in the industry he once dominated. Sometimes I wonder if he remembers that day in the pharmacy, if he regrets treating a desperate mother with such cruelty. But honestly, I don't care if he's learned his lesson. What matters is that he can never hurt people like me again. So that's my story. A reminder that no matter how powerful someone seems, they're never untouchable. And sometimes, all it takes is one person willing to stand up. What would you have done in my situation? Would you have exposed Richard at the gala, or found another way to get your revenge? Let me know in the comments.